Kirk, appreciate you giving us some time today. First, I just want to begin with the Twitter post you actually had after you guys finished the series. That trip back from Maine. Just could you take us through all that and kind of how this team really persevered through that whole ordeal?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just sitting there after the game on Monday and was like, before I get into it, I was like, like they do some, like I don't think people really understand how much some of these guys grind, and they deserve more credit than they get. And it was just trying to say, hey, like this is awesome, like how hard they competed through. That's where some teams will just quit, right? Like we want to go home, start summer, and they said nope. So basically, we were driving along, no issues. And then the bus started beeping like 10 miles outside of Worcester as we were coming back through Portland. And then it starts beeping a little bit more. And, all of a sudden there's smoke coming out the back. And so we pulled over on the side of the highway there, I think, again, like just northeast of Worcester. Sat there for about a half an hour, looked at the bus driver Bob did a great job there. He was trying to fix it. He was on the phone with maintenance. Thought we had something that at least could override the system for us to get a little bit further down, because we had already started calling hotels, and there was a Godsmack concert at the DCU Center in Worcester. And then there was a national rowing championship in the area as well. And we, no word of a lie, called every hotel within like a 30-mile radius, and everybody was sold out. Like they laughed at us. And then we got connected to sister hotels. They laughed at us. Anyways, so we basically rolled into downtown Worcester, parked the bus at the DCU Center. And I park as a bit of a, using that liberally. We basically rolled into downtown Worcester on the last legs of the bus, and walked up to a couple of hotels. Literally just said, hey, like, what can we do? Like, and the Marriott, the AC Marriott there, like the guy was great. Like we were like, we understand you're sold out. They were basically like, you have to be out by 9 or 9:30 because there's an event in this room at noon. We need to clean it. And I'm like, oh, like if we can get beds or blankets, pillows, at least we can sleep instead of sitting up on the bus for 8 hours waiting for the replacement to come. And the guys, like I said, they rolled with the punches, and we got a little bit of shut eye, and had some intoxicated guests roll through the area thinking it was funny. And there was some sights to be seen. And got home at about 5. We got home at 5:50 p.m. Sunday after expecting to get home around 4:30 a.m. from Portland. Exhausted, and kind of just at that point we were a little bit like, well, it's only going to be a good story if we win. So altered the schedule slightly Monday morning, and went with an optional skate if guys didn't want to come to the rink. They didn't really, I think we had them come in for an hour, but like not till 11. Guys that wanted to skate could get ice, but it was just find a way to be ready for 7 o'clock. And they competed. I thought we dominated the game for 40 minutes and kind of held on late, just as things happen in playoffs when you're trying to close out a series. But it was definitely a story. I didn't think it was going to take off like it did, to be honest. Like it just was more trying to give the guys credit, because like I said, I don't think they get enough credit sometimes for what they go through to compete and win games. Again, credit to our leadership group and the whole group for just saying, screw it, we're going to find a way. And they did. So credit to them. They go out and work and play. Like as coaches, we just stand there. So there's a great job by them for over a 48-hour period from Saturday at 9 when we left Portland till 9 o'clock on Monday night after we had won. Like it was a lot happened. And, like I said, we're not the first team whose bus is broken down in the minors, and we're certainly not going to be the last. But, in these situations, like I said, there's a lot of guys over the years who've gone through this, and I don't think people realize necessarily what guys go through to compete and win games.
Kirk, sticking with travel questions, sorry, losing my voice a bit, sticking with travel questions, how important is it to have the home advantage in this type of series when the travel's such a nuisance? Obviously, you got to try to Toronto and then fly to St. John, so it balances out the travel for each team, but you get to start at home.
Oh, it's huge, especially like people don't realize, like some of the COVID restrictions in Canada, you know, I don't know if you could call them restrictions anymore, but there's about half as many flights to St. John's out of Toronto as there used to be pre-COVID. So trying to, you know, we've got home ice. There's only one day in between. Like now you're trying to get 60 people to one destination, you know, over a 1 day period where like there's no gap in the schedule where you know, one team can go one day, one can go the next. So it's been a hassle. Luckily, you know, like we only have to make one trip. They're making potentially two, and it's been, again, like if people saw what was going on to try and get the flights booked and stuff for Monday, their heads would explode. So again, the guys have been great. They understand the situation. Like we basically have got guys going on two separate flights Monday, half the team on one trip and half the team on the other. And one group's leaving in the morning, one's leaving in the afternoon. So one gets in nice and early in the afternoon and the other group gets to sleep in and get in later at night, you know, closer to midnight. But in the grand scheme of things, it's better than having to get on the bus and drive to Toronto after the game Sunday and potentially fly from there. So you take the small victories where you can. And yeah, it's 7 games in 10 nights with 2 days of those travel days from St. John's, Newfoundland. So again, I'll say it, just check the map if you don't know where that is, because it's not an easy place to get to. Honestly, it'd be easier if we were playing a team in California. You know, you could hop on a nonstop flight to LA or San Francisco and there'd be a ton of flight options. It's really limited. So it's been tough. And then credit to the Growlers too. They've been awesome with regards to helping us get up there, and their staff's awesome. You know, like we obviously want to beat them, but you know, it's been a team effort through both groups here to make sure we can get guys to where they need to be to play hockey and have a real playoff series. So, you know, pretty thankful for the group and the professionalism from their side of things, because, you know, want to beat each other's brains in when the puck drops, but you know, we're kind of in this together with regards to getting the players and staff to where they need to be.
If you could just talk about the past couple of days, how you guys kind of reset after a series. I mean, you guys had the extra day compared to Newfoundland, who had that game 7. How do you guys kind of reset going into a fresh series?
Yeah, like I know, luckily we've had some gaps here. Like we, you know, after games 1 and 2, we took 2 days to completely away from the rink, and we just did the same thing. Tuesday, Wednesday, there was nothing. I had some treatment Wednesday for guys that wanted it. And then we got after it yesterday on the ice, started preparing, doing some video, and then same thing this morning. We just did some video over Body Zone, and got off the ice about 11 o'clock. And again, we're prepared. The one good thing about, I guess you can say, about our level is we see a team so much that, you know, at this point, this is going to be game 10 for us tomorrow against them over the year. So they know what we're doing. We know what they're doing, and we'll prepare accordingly. But from that standpoint, puts us in, you know, puts us in a good position. But, you know, there's a lot of familiarity, and, you know, we know they haven't changed a lot of their style over the years, and probably we haven't either. So it's going to be a great matchup. We're excited, really excited.
Speaking on that familiarity, I know you just said you guys kind of continue to do what you do. Is there part of you that thinks maybe throw a different look at them, shake some things up, or is it just continue to do what you guys do so well and what's gotten you here?
Yeah, I think there's always adjustments we make when playing certain teams. Like we'll alter some things, you know, compared to how we played against Maine. We will make adjustments because, you know, Maine wanted to dump the puck in a lot more and create turnovers on the forecheck. You know, and we knew they were kind of limited to how they could score. Like they could only score off the rush or on the power play. You know, and when they did forecheck, they sent everybody. Whereas Newfoundland, they're, you know, not going to forecheck as hard probably, but they establish possession in the O-zone really well. They will hang on to the puck for a long time until they can get a great ace shot. Great in transition, great off the rush. Their power play, obviously, Zach O'Brien, Tyler Boland have been outstanding. You know, we are going to make some adjustments based on, you know, let's be honest, that they're a better hockey team. Like we battled down to the Friday of the last weekend of the regular season to win the division against these guys. So this series, anybody looking at it is probably going, this is a coin flip. And I think we got to approach it the same way. And we know it's the second and third best team in the whole league playing in the second round. So I don't think that's lost on anybody, and we're excited, and we're going to do what we got to do to try and win 4 games before they do.
Thanks for your time today, Coach. You spoke on it there a little bit about the travel, but can you just talk about how challenging it is to have very few off days in this series versus your series against Maine? You mentioned after between games 2 and 3, you had 4 or 5 off days. This series is much more condensed.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's that time of year with arena availabilities, with, you know, both teams playing in buildings that have, you know, a lot going on, right? And that's, you know, from our aspect, I guess that's a good thing, right? Like, that means we're doing business. And, you know, I sat here for 365 days and watched nothing happen in our building. So if the worst thing that happens right now is that we got to, you know, work around graduations and concerts, I mean, there's greater tragedies in this world. And both, you know, for me, like, both teams go through the same shit, right? Like, we both got to find a way to get to St. John's by, you know, Monday night to play Tuesday. And then, you know, assuming there's probably going to be game 6 and 7, we both got to find our way back to Reading for a game on Saturday night. Like, to me, now, sorry, the travel issue, it stinks, but in the playoffs, you're doing it together. So, like, everybody's doing the same grind. Like, in the regular season, it's, you might play 7 and 9 or 5 and 6, but the other team might have sat there for 3 days. Well, you played 3 games, and then you're barely hanging on, and they're sitting there fresh and slept in their own beds the next night. Whereas we're both going through it. Like, we know it. It's the battle. And we also know that if we can get through this series, we're going to have a pretty good break until game 1 of the conference final. So, you know, you take those things where, again, we had almost a week off between series here, and we still won 6 games. And that, even if it goes 7, we're probably going to have 4 or 5 days off. You know, whoever wins the series is going to have 4 or 5 days off. So you take some, you win some, you lose some, but it's a 7 and 10 for both teams on the same days. So, you know, you just gotta, they've embraced it all year. They've been great. So we just kind of keep rolling with it.
Kirk, obviously both of these teams have a lot of depth, but you've been doing a good job, particularly in the playoffs as well, at keeping guys rested to put fresh legs in each game. With how quick this is, 7 and 10, is that even more pivotal in a series like this to make sure you can put fresh legs in and mix those guys in certain games as well?
Yeah, sort of. You know, you got to run your horses at this point in the time, right? Like, you know, like, it's your best players that are going to win you games at the end of the day. You know, I think for us, the big thing is to have 2 guys that we can throw it in, that is really like 2 bona fide number ones at our level, where, you know, you can't play one goalie all 7 games with the schedule we have. Like, it just, you know, they know that, like, Flo's going to get some starts here in this round. You know, what games he plays is up to be determined, but, you know, we know he's going to go in and kick really well for us. And we know Nags is going to kick really well for us. So it's like, you know, Nags is probably the first guy to say he didn't like the goal he gave up on Monday night. Well, yeah, he gave up 1. So if you only give up 1 goal in a game and you don't like it, well, we can deal with that, right? Like, because if we only give up 1 goal, and we lose, that's on the guys not playing in net, you know? So like I said, he and then, you know, he made a couple of outstanding saves in the last 5 minutes, but like I said, like, Flo's been outstanding since he's got here. For us, that's the biggest, I think, addition, you know, going through this series here, knowing the travel and the schedule, is to be able, you know, I've never seen a team with bad goalies win a championship. You know, it's the most important position in sports. And, you know, like, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl as a number 1 quarterback. Like, you can't tell me, you know, somebody like that's winning the Stanley Cup as a goalie, right? Like, it just doesn't happen. And you need big guys back there that can kick at 920 at least in the playoffs, and that's what they're doing. The other parts we'll interchange pieces as we see fit, but you know, having both those guys back there right now is a huge benefit for us.
Yeah, so I saw an interesting stat that the Growlers have yet to lose a postseason series in franchise history. So they're probably rolling into Reading with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. How are you guys going to be handling that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've on the ice, like I said, I think we've grown to have a healthy dislike for each other. You know, for the 6 guys that are been here since 2020, and myself and Jason, our equipment manager, and Sean, like that we've been here for a while. Like for us, like we've been waiting to play this series since 2020. Like, they got more money than us. They got more contracts than us. They travel better than us. They have more resources than us. So that's just what it is. Like, they have the richest team in hockey bankrolling them. And we know that they walk around with a little bit of, we eat filet and caviar and the coast, and we're awesome. And, and we're eating soggy subs and sleeping on the floor. And that's what we are, and we're the land of misfit toys, as we talk about here. And we're going to go out and we're going to do what we do. And I think, like they know they're good. I know I was good too, if I had, that kind of stuff going on, and that's great. But, we've also the only team since they've been in the league that have a winning record against them too, going back to 2018. So, we know how good they are, but we also know how good we are too. So we're excited. I don't think anybody's shocked if this series goes 7 games, right? Like it's 2 really good teams, like we're both the favorites to get out of the conference. You could argue we're the favorites to win a championship. So like we're I can't say how excited we are, but it's, we're eager for 7:30 tomorrow night.
Coach, how would you assess your team's special teams in the series against Maine, and how important will stout performances on special teams be in this series against the Growlers?
Yeah, won us the series, quite honestly. You go back game 1, power play goal to open the scoring. Game 2, we win 3-0, 2 goals are in the power play. Then they get a couple I think they beat us on the power play in game 3, but and then 2 late game winners in 10 minutes or less, basically in games 5 and 6 that won the game. And they got a power play goal in game 5, but they went 1 for 3, I believe, and we went 1 for 1. So I say that we won the battle in that one, and then we won 100% on Monday night, and they went over, right? And that's the ball game. So playoff time, you got to be able to play 5-on-5, but if you can get a goal here and there from your power play, like that's going to be the difference a lot of the time, right? Like no matter who you're playing, a lot of time it's a one-shot game, and 3 of the games we won were 1-goal games, and we got power play goals in all of them. So and our penalty kill, I believe they were number 1 or number 2 on the year for power play, and we won the special teams battle for the series. So yeah, it's huge, and the guys have done a great job, and Hank's done a great job preparing the guys for the penalty kill and power play, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Kirk's talking about similar to special teams, but I know we addressed this before, how important it is 5-on-5 compared to 4-on-4. After the whistle, is it really pivotal, especially against Newfoundland, not to get the coincidental to lead to more open ice 4-on-4 opportunities? Because I know we addressed that in the past as well, since they obviously have, like you said, more skill than Maine, being 2 of the top 2 teams in the league going up against each other in this series.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be us at 5-on-5, but I think sometimes we get ourselves into trouble because we try and do too much at 4-on-4, where we think there's more ice, we take a longer shift, and we don't manage the game as well. When in reality, you got a lot more ice to cover. If you mess up or break down, you don't have the puck support, or you don't have the support on defense necessarily. So yeah, I would assume there's probably not going to be as much after the whistle, if I'm a betting man, but you saw as the series went on, it kind of went away, and everybody just started playing hockey by and large, other than a couple times, which happens during the regular season. Everybody's juiced up games 1 and 2, and that happens every year. So we'll continue to try and play 5-on-5 and stay out of the box. Like we've been the least penalties team in the history of the league, if anybody wants to acknowledge that. The league doesn't. But we took, we had one penalty kill on Monday night. We had three power plays, right? Like that's a recipe for success for us, right? And then the best penalty kill is not having to do it. So try and stay out of the box as much as possible, and then go from there.
All right, we'll begin a final rotation here of questions for anybody who'd like to jump in. I'll begin with Melanie with the Philadelphia Inquirer. Any final questions?
Everything's all set. Well, actually, if there was one pivotal moment in that night where you were sleeping on the floor, like one little tiny anecdote, what would you say it was?
That's I have one, but I can't tell you. You know, like we all kind of just like looked around at one point. We're like, my God, like what is like, I don't really know how to describe it other than like, we're all sitting down, like we're laughing like a bunch of 12-year-olds at a sleepover. That you're like, this is good story for the ages. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, that's the best I can do for you. But I mean, it's just another chapter in the book, as we say. You know, like it's just another chapter.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Sam, WFMZ.
All set. Thanks, Kirk. See you tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Matthew, anything else?
Coach, you just talked about it again right there. You mentioned how your team's sort of like the island of misfit toys, and you've talked similarly during the regular season. How's your team embraced that at this point?
It's just like, again, like Saturday, Sunday, or whatever night it was. You know, like we have a pity for the group, like guy player of the game. Some teams do like a WWE belt or a hard hat or whatever. Like our like it's like a basketball tank top and it just says misfit of the game. Like you know, we always kind of say that, like it's just we're like we're gonna roll in and we don't care what anybody else thinks. We're gonna find a way to get our work done and you know, sometimes it's not pretty like it was Monday, but we'll find a way.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Great. And Joe, any final questions for Coach?
That was good. Thanks so much for your time, Kirk.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Thank you.